What up, though? This is your boy Mike D, host of Wrestling from the 313, and we are back for our second back-to-back episode this week. Yesterday, we had a cool episode with Dr. Jeremy Housewright. Shout out to him. Thank you for him coming on. Today, my guest is a wrestling and gaming content creator. He is all over social media, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch. Very big on Twitch. My guest today, RyanTD, what up, though? Welcome to the 313.
Well, thank you for having me, man. I appreciate you.
No problem, no problem. So, you being a wrestling and gaming content creator is only right. Today we talk a little WWE and also a little WWE 2K because a lot of people been mad about the game this past month or two about some of the stuff that's been going on. We'll talk about that. But real quick, let's get things started. First, let's talk about what inspired you to start creating content around wrestling and gaming.
Honestly, a couple years, it was right before COVID.
Okay.
It was mainly gaming, and then I just wanted, because I've always wanted to do that ever since I was a kid, 15, 16, just to do something, some type of content creation. And then once I figured out my passion was more towards wrestling than gaming, so eventually the past couple years I have focused more onto the wrestling side of doing some kind of content creation, especially now that I do travel a lot for when I go to wrestling shows and stuff like that. And I've been heavily invested into wrestling. Ever since I was a kid, I was invested, but even now as an adult more than ever, because I'm able to go to some of these shows, or just anything, conventions, run into wrestlers and stuff like that. So I've always had that idea since when I was 15, 16, so about 13 years now, and it's still taken time to do. The success isn't grown overnight, but I'm still eating at it.
Definitely. So, growing up being a wrestling fan, who were some of your favorites?
I always say John Cena, just because when I first started, literally the first match vaguely remember was when John Cena retained his title in the Elimination Chamber in 2006. I've always been a John Cena fan, but if you don't want to, I don't want to give out the cop out answer, but besides Cena has been CM Punk for a little bit, but I'm not. CM Punk kind of went down, but now it's Seth Rollins, and then the Hardy Boys. I'm gonna throw a tag team in there, and then a female. This is a very I want to hit every point, so I'm gonna give you a female, and this is a very underrated answer, but it's Brooke Tessmacher from TNA.
Oh yeah, I remember her because she used to be one of the. She was in some group when they had ECW.
Oh, the Extreme Expose, yeah, her,
Yeah.
Kelly, and oh my god, I know the other girl. I just don't know her name. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Layla, right? Was it Layla or somebody else? It wasn't Layla.
I think so. I can't think of the name because I know it used to be three of them.
Yeah.
But
yeah, some of my favorites. It's hard for me to hate people really in wrestling. I'm kind of a big wrestling fan. Very few people I hate, but those are just some names I really enjoyed growing up. Same thing with like Beer Money and TNA back in the day.
Yeah.
I've always been a Robert Roode fan. I've always been a fan of him.
Yeah, definitely the those TNA days when they had first started. Those to me were some of the best days.
The early TNA days, man.
Yeah. You had AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, like you said, Beer Money. James Storm was in that other tag team with Chris Harris, America's Most Wanted. And then R-Truth was in TNA. He was the NWA champion, and it was a lot of people that came through that went to TNA that either left WWE, left WCW. Yeah, there's a lot of history in TNA, and I think that they should be one of those organizations eventually if they don't have one now. I know they got a streaming service where they used to show Impact and stuff, but a streaming service where they have all their content and stuff because they have a lot of
I
good
think
content.
I think I think they do, if I'm not
Okay,
mistaken. But if the TNA Plus thing or whatever, but I'm not mistaken
uh,
'cause I don't have it. But I know TNA does every once in a while, even still now, they're like posting like old stuff on there. There'll be like
yeah,
hours worth of content. So even if it's not up yet anywhere, if you check out like their YouTube, man, and you see like full pay-per-views, or you'll see like I saw like an hour video the other day. It was like every single Monsters Ball match. So
yeah,
TNA be posting those.
yeah, definitely. And I totally agree with you with what you said. Like it is hard to like dislike wrestlers. You know what I'm saying? I think it could get to a point where like a wrestler, you could get tired of a wrestler, especially because I remember at one time when like Triple H was like a big heel and he was always winning the championship. I didn't hate him, but I was just like, okay, I'm kind of getting tired of this because it's the same thing. He had a championship, have it for a couple months, lose it, then get it right back a month later, and then it was just like, okay. Then when it came out, then him and Stephanie was really married, and he was behind the scenes with Vince doing his thing. So it's like, okay, now it kind of makes sense. But honestly, he was like one of the best heels of all time at in my opinion. And just at that time during the Attitude Era and even afterwards, like he was still like one of the best.
Still, he's still considered one of the greatest, or one of the best. Man, he's always done. Like you said, Triple H is one of the best. And even though you hated him at one point, not like really hated him, but it's like
Yeah.
you're sick and tired of seeing him, bro. It's like go away for a little bit or something.
Yeah.
That's why it's always good for a wrestler to take a break, because fans probably get that thing. It's like, oh, I'm sick and tired of seeing you. Like leave for a little bit so we can miss you, and then you come back.
Yeah. But I think like when he eventually turned babyface and then him and Shawn Michaels kind of like reconciled on screen and then they did DX again. I think those moments were pretty fun. It wasn't like the DX back in the day, but it was
No,
cool to kind of have that nostalgia, a little bit of the silliness that they used to do. I would definitely say the DX reunion was better than any NWO reunion, whether it was WCW when they did the WCW 2000 and when they brought them back. What was that, 2002? When
I
they
think so.
came back,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think really with the NWO, I think it was just the characters. Scott Hall was going through his issues. I think Six was going through some things. Nash had got injured, and then everybody cheered Hogan, so they had no choice to put him back in the red and yellow. So yeah, but I definitely think that DX when Triple H had went back to a baby face and they reformed DX again. Those were some good times.
Is that what you're talking about? Like 2006 ish, right? Is that what?
Yeah, yup.
So
2006.
that that I enjoyed that run as DX. I know they weren't at their peak, but I still enjoyed that run when them being as DX, because they still did the comedy stuff. They still did the serious stuff, because I feel like Shawn Michaels was getting his butt kicked all the time. He was always feuding with the McMahons, and then when they went from like the Spirit Squad to the
Yeah,
McMahons, and I don't know, they still put on. If you go back and watch, they were still putting on some crazy matches. Just him and
yeah,
Triple H, like they were the two man that was just beating everybody up or getting beat up, and that
yeah,
was a good little time for wrestling too. That was when I first started like watching wrestling. Um, so they were like a focal point for me when I was a kid.
yeah. Yeah, I'm a little older. See, I grew up I was born in 81, so I grew up in that time of the Hogan era, the Macho Man, Andre the Giant. That was a good era. They definitely opened up the door for what you see now. And the the matches with Macho Man and Steamboat and Hogan, his impact that he had on the 80s, like he definitely opened up the door for what you see, like I said. But I will say this: his movies were terrible. His movies, his movies were terrible, and it was like when The Rock finally started doing movies. When even Stone Cold didn't really have like a big movie. Like he had movies that he starred in, but it wasn't like on the level of maybe like a Rock and Cena.
Yeah.
But even those movies were better than Hulk Hogan's. Like and I know he had to do it for the kids. He was still like that good guy. Even when he was Hollywood Hogan, he did the Three Ninjas movie. But yeah, his movies were terrible.
I don't think I've seen one Hogan movie or a movie that Hogan's been in. I don't know. I don't think I've seen any. Like, I know he's done movies. I can't recall.
Look, just look up Mr. Nanny. Look up Suburban Commando. No holds.
Suburban. Oh yeah.
Yeah, because the Undertaker was in that movie too.
Wait,
He was like
what?
he was like one of the bad guys, and he had like curly hair. And I think Undertaker had like one line in the movie, and he had like a funny voice. And Hogan was like, "Yeah, no wonder why you guys don't talk." But yeah, Undertaker is in that movie. A lot of people, a
Huh?
lot of
I
people
didn't
didn't know
know
that.
that.
So, how do you balance your love for wrestling with your passion for gaming content?
So, I haven't really been doing much gaming. I still game. No, I still game, but it's not as it was on the content side. I
Okay.
have been trying to stream on Twitch here and there. It's just I live my life so busy, and a lot
Yeah.
of people don't like. The only people that really do know is like maybe my grandma, and then maybe a couple friends that really know like how busy my life gets. So when it comes to my life, like if I'm not gaming, then I'm at work, and if I'm not at work, I'm gaming. Late as of late, because I'll always have that passion for gaming, but I right now I would rather just post about my journeys because, like I said, I do travel for wrestling shows. Or lately, the past like 2 years, I've been going to a lot of concerts. I've been on my little concert little mood.
Yeah.
So hitting up some, I just went and saw Metallica last weekend, and then I was at a
Oh,
concert
sweet.
last night.
Sweet.
Um, so it's been me just staying busy where if I'm not working and if I'm not gaming, like I do love gaming. I like sitting here for hours at a time, but also it's like I get that feeling inside where I need to be out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
um uh at first, like when I first started doing it, I was really into gaming, and now I'd rather just focus around like the wrestling content because that's more about my more that I'm more interested in. And like I'm not sure if you can see my room, but I got figures all over. Uh, so this is more of my life is just the wrestling, and so I've mainly been focusing on this.
Oh, come on.
You'll
Uh-uh.
uh,
Give me
oh, you're
one. Oh,
good.
snap. Give me 1 second. Having some different. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Sorry about that. Having some technical
No, you're
issues.
good. So like I've been more invested into wrestling than anything. So I'd rather just focus on the wrestling content side and just post about my journeys and vlog here and there. Like my all time goal is to just vlog, and if I go to wrestling shows, vlog that and vlog. Like, 'cause I'm going to SummerSlam, so I would love to. I'm vlogging that whole entire weekend just for it is for me, but it's also to share my experience and my point of view when I'm doing a lot of these things because I have so many friends and family that live through me, and if I could share that through a video form and grow that brand of whatever it is, then that's my like that's what I that would make me happy. And I always try and tell people to do something that you would enjoy. Don't force yourself to do it. If you can naturally do it, then do it. So the gaming, I'll just like if I would like to stream my video games, but it's also I don't know. I was doing it for a couple years, and I was doing all right, and then it's just something that wasn't really what I want to do. But at times, I will want to stream my games. But now like I've been trying to focus on growing on TikTok, like posting. I'll post my like not reactions because I really don't like to do reactions because everyone does them. So I'd rather just either post my reviews on like a pay per view or post my journeys, like when I go to concerts or go to wrestling shows and stuff. So between balance or if it wasn't for balancing gaming and wrestling, it's just basically balancing my whole entire life because I'm always busy.
Definitely, definitely. That's what's up. Yeah, because it's yeah, you definitely want to get out and just live your life. You know what I'm saying? Because I actually thought about doing the whole just streaming when I'm playing WWE 2K or like if I'm playing universe mode. But sometimes you just want to have that just play in the comfort of your home and
Yeah, that
you know what I'm
that's
saying?
that's where I like that's where it comes from. It's like I don't want to have to sit here and like it would be cool. I can stream. Like you said, if you wanted to stream universe mode, say you streamed it, and then you could take that whole entire stream and chop it up into clips or something like that, and
Yeah,
then post it all. It's a lot of work to do on your own though. If you were to do it like that, make
yeah,
a bunch of clips from your Twitch stream or something like that, it's a lot of work. So if you were to do that, you're adding more work on top of yourself. And usually when I do that to myself, I add so much stress. Like when I went to WrestleMania, I went to WrestleMania last year, and I was adding stress onto myself because we had so much to do. Me and the boys were going to some indie shows. We were gonna go to eat some at some places. Like I'm adding stress on top of myself because we got so much stuff going on that weekend.
mhm,
And I always like to say, don't try and overwhelm yourself when it comes to anything. It could be anything related. So I do tend to stress myself out and overwhelm myself, but I always try and like just sit back and relax and just kind of like do one thing at a time.
yeah. I definitely feel you on that. So I know you said you took a step back on the content gaming, the gaming content and stuff. Um, this even when you are at home and you playing WWE 2K25, which came out a couple months ago. Um, got some good reviews as far as the graphics and stuff
It
like that.
does.
The graphics are A1, but a lot of people have been mad about this DLC pack, the first DLC pack that came out that had a celebrity guest, and they still have not announced it yet. Um, Overall, what you think about the game, and what do you think about just the whole controversy with the whole celebrity guest in the first pack?
Um, so I've enjoyed the game. I've played through. I forgot the game, but I haven't played it in a little bit. But I played through like the Samoan where you're doing all the Samoans. I forgot the game mode that was like
Uh,
the
the
bloodline thing,
showcase,
the bloodline showcase.
yeah,
That was really really interesting to play through because Paul Heyman is voicing over
yeah,
the whole thing, and I'm like,
yeah,
this is some badass stuff because they covered every single Samoan in WWE history. They
yes,
covered everything, the backstory. So it's cool, especially like the older matches that I didn't get to see. They covered a lot of that stuff, and
yeah,
I think they did War Games a little bit better this year. That concept, the GM mode, getting an upgrade, and they're still somewhat adding in tweaks. Like I've been seeing like some patch notes, like they've been adding in
yeah.
just not even with GMO, but just in overall. So as long as they can keep updating the game on a regular basis, that will be pretty cool. But I spent a lot of time in my GM mode,
Okay,
because I've always enjoyed just making matches and trying to do all that. So it's always fun to put my creative mind to work and just sit there and play my GM mode. I know you can do the same in universe mode, which I haven't touched yet. just because I was just having fun with my GM mode, and there's just so much other stuff to do. That's another thing, is like there's just so much to do, which isn't always a bad thing, but it's like now I can't get to the other game modes because, and I probably won't be touching online much because between people, I played like one or two online game modes or online games, and the guy was like, I faced the same guy twice, I think, and all he was doing was like the same moves over and over again.
Oh yeah,
And it was like cheap moves to where it would like weaken me, and I'm like,
yeah,
people have been doing that shit since like the earlier SmackDown versus Raw games. I'm just not about it. So like because I remember back playing like SmackDown versus Raw 2011, and people were doing like some freeze glitches, and I'm like, bro, people are still doing this crap, and so I
yeah.
don't care for the online, and unless I'm playing with friends, of course. Um, but and then them doing the celebrity guests, I think it's cool, but they should really like. So you said they haven't announced it yet, the first celebrity.
Nope, they still haven't announced it yet.
Damn, I
Yeah,
thought it was. I thought they were gonna have like is it Tyrese Halliburton is one of them, and
yeah. He's going to be in the pack that's dropping this month. He's supposed to be in the pack with, I think, the Great Khali, Abyss, and it's supposed to be two other basketball players on that in that pack too.
oh,
From
probably
what,
Jalen. Was it Jalen Brunson? Maybe.
yeah, I heard Jalen Brunson and also heard Shaq.
Oh shoot.
Yeah,
Okay,
that.
I didn't know
Yeah,
about Shaq.
yeah. But it's like everybody is upset because it's like they announcing all this other stuff and they still haven't announced who's the celebrity in the first pack. I keep hearing it's gonna be Travis Scott, and you know,
That'd be cool.
yeah, yeah. I think with everything that he's been doing the last couple of months, especially in 2025 with WWE, it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? It could either be him or his name I Show Speed. That's who I thought it
Oh yeah.
first.
So it reminded when you mentioned that, it reminded me of when 2K added like Pat McAfee and his friends last year in a
Yeah,
DLC pack,
yeah,
and everyone was complaining about it. It's like they didn't take any spots, so people were complaining about people getting taken spots away from them in the game. It's like nobody got a spot taken away. It was an extra. Pat McAfee even mentioned it on his podcast like the following day, and like you're taking away spots from guys who could be in the game. It's like this is already planned ahead of time. These guys were taking nobody's spot away. It was
right,
an extra DLC pack. I feel like people definitely need to relax when it comes to that. When guys are getting added in the game, whether they're a celebrity or not, it's extra characters, and so sometimes people, not everyone's gonna be in the video game. They're already putting like 200 people in every freaking video game as it
that's
is.
true. Yeah,
So it's you're overwhelmed at that point.
right. Because it's hard to try to play with every wrestler on the game. I don't even try. It's just like because I play universe mode. I've been into the my ride. I did play my rides because I want to unlock some of the stuff that was in the game, and I did play the Bloodline Showcase a few times. But
Okay.
universe mode, I would like to see them do more with the mode. I would like to see them add a option where you could do a draft. Um, do something where you could have like one roster, basically had like a WWE roster and a WCW roster, and you could have like the shows affiliated with that brand, sort of,
Mhm.
kind of like how it was back in the day.
Yeah,
Just giving you the option. I think Universe Mode should be like NBA 2K's My NBA, where they just let you customize everything. Like you can add expansion teams, you can realign the divisions, you can even change some of the rules in the league. So I think they should give them that option to. They should put more into Universe Mode. I honestly think they should combine Universe Mode and My GM.
I was about to say that it'd be they could combine that to an extent, and you could still have, if you want to keep universe mode, you can still do that, but then just add just put my GM and universe together, and
Yeah,
then you can play it however you want, and it would be good. I was about to say combine both those game modes.
yeah. And another thing that I don't like the whole my faction thing. I don't like that they
I don't care
making
for that.
people. I hate that they making people unlock characters that was in the game last year. Like you got to do something on my faction to get the Bray Wyatt that had the NWO shirt on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So you got.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. I
go ahead.
remember.
Yeah, and then I think they let you. I think you got to unlock the Alexa Bliss for 2025, and it's just like Roman Reigns with the tracksuit. It's like, would y'all just give us that stuff for free? Like seriously, seriously. But overall, I think the game is pretty good, and like you said, I like that they continue to do that. They add different stuff in the patch notes.
Yeah, they're still updating the game pretty well. But yeah, like you said, that universe and my GM mode would be cool. I don't know how the hell they would do it if they were. As long as they keep my GM mode for the future WWE games, they better not take it out again.
Definitely.
Keep on revamping it, if anything.
Oh yeah, most definitely. We got a comment that just came in from the Holy Shit podcast. What up, fellas? Mad Love Detroit is in the building. Shout out to you guys. Make sure y'all check them out on YouTube. Make sure and subscribe to their YouTube channel also. So if you could pitch a new feature or match type for 2K26, what would it be based off this year's experience?
Damn. I would say we don't have Inferno match, right?
Nope.
I would say Inferno match just because the earlier SmackDown vs Raw games had it,
Yeah.
and it was. I want to kind of see how it would turn out with like in this day and age, because I think they did have it in a prior game, like not recent, but maybe a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Um, but I want to see what they can do because every year games get better, they upgrade all their mechanics. So I kind of want to see how they could do it in this type. But if not, like an Inferno, I want to give another answer besides an Inferno match. If not an Inferno match, then maybe something crazy like man, there's I don't know, maybe something from like ECW days where they had like
Yeah.
a bunch of tables lined up and they're fight or you know what? No, scratch that. The freaking oh my god, what was it? I don't know what promotion was it. Was it where they had to climb a cage and there was another cage on top? Was that
Uh,
WCW?
WCW. Yeah. Yeah.
Dude,
I
that'd be
can't think of the
insane.
name of that match because it was kind of like I won't say it was like King of the Mountain because that King of the Mountain was that TNA match. It was
Yeah,
called something because they had that match in that movie. That movie with David Arquette.
yeah.
I think that was
Oh,
yeah,
yeah. Fuck, I can't remember.
yeah. But I'm trying to think. Like, I really don't know what type of like because they honestly after they added the War Games match, like what other matches can you add now? You know what I'm saying? Or type of match types, unless they just come up with something new. You know what I'm saying?
Unless they want us, I don't want to say copy from TNA, but TNA also had that lethal lockdown match where it was the steel cage, and then after everyone was in the steel cage, they brought the top down that had weapons on it and stuff.
Oh yeah,
And I
yeah,
think you could climb up there too, if I wasn't mistaken. I remember a match vividly where they maybe Sting or AJ Styles climbed up there and they were fighting each other or something like that. I can't remember, but there was weapons on the top part of the cage after everyone was in the ring. It was almost like a War Games match in a way,
yeah,
but I think the only way you could win is by pinfall or submission.
yeah. And another match I was just thinking about that's not in the game. That match that NXT have is kind of like the Iron Man match, but it's like when you get pinned, you get put in the penalty box.
Oh yeah, the Is it the Iron Survivor or something like that?
Something like that. Yeah, yeah. I cannot think of the name. It's like right on the tip of my tongue, but I think that's
Damn.
really yeah, that's the only match that I could think of. I'm trying to think of what is the name of that match.
Damn, I wish I could pull it up.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, um, is it Deadline or something like that?
That's the pay per view or
Okay,
the PLE.
okay.
Deadline was NXT PLE, but I think it was the Iron Survivor.
I think so. Yeah, you might be right. You might be right with that one. So we didn't talk about the video game. Let's talk a little wrestling. Of course, Money in the Bank was this weekend. Or not, yeah, Money in the Bank was this weekend. We saw our two winners, Seth Rollins, Naomi. What did you think of the ladder matches?
I think the whole show as a whole was good. Women's ladder match. I didn't like the decision with Naomi winning, to be honest, but I thought she was already won the Money in the Bank. That was my first initial reaction when she won. I was like, I thought she already won again, or I thought she won. So I wish it would have been someone else, but if it works in the long run, then I'll take it. And then the men's ladder match was insane. From Jacob Fatu turning on Solo, from some of the spots those guys had, like
Uh,
hats off to Chad Gable for working two crazy matches back to back.
oh yeah,
Um, but yeah, Money in the Bank. For anyone who thought Money in the Bank was bad, then I don't know what to tell you. I thought it was at least a good 7 out of 10. It was a solid show. I enjoyed it. That's all that matters for me, as long as I enjoyed it.
yeah, definitely. I wasn't mad about the Money in the Bank winners. Actually, I predicted them on one of my episodes last week. I had the main event roundtable episode, and I think I know I predicted Seth. I said just with everything, him trying to get in, trying to get that power, trying to get that key, that open opportunity to the world title, it only made sense for him to win it. I had LA Knight as my dark horse if Seth didn't win it. And that's the same with Naomi. I think that like Stephanie Vaquer, Julia, and Roxanne Perez, I think they would have been good winners for Money in the Bank. But I just couldn't see them putting it on Stephanie Vaquer or Julia, and they just got called up a few weeks ago. So
Right.
and definitely like Naomi has been killing it as a heel. I think she's
She
like
has. I've been liking it. I like how her and Jade be talking shit on like
on
X.
social media,
They be
yeah.
saying some shit. I'm like, damn, okay, okay.
Yeah, but
uh,
just the transition she made from the glow character, and it seemed like she was gonna never make that turn. But now that she went back to being a heel, because if people remember, she was a heel for a minute back in when Sasha Banks came up, and they had that whole Team Bad faction with her, Sasha Banks, and Tamina. I don't think she really was comfortable as being a heel, but I think now she's definitely comfortable and she's definitely been killing. I think she's one of the best heels in the company right now.
it's hard for some people to be heel or face. If you look at it, like the Miz. I mean, everyone like would cheer for him being a face, but if you look at it, some of his best work has been a heel.
Yeah, definitely.
And so yeah, it's I can't really see Naomi being I beforehand I couldn't see her being a heel, but like I said, she's been killing it. She's been doing a good job, and it's different too because majority of her career we've seen her be face and see her being like uh that fan favorite for like especially the younger generation because like
Yeah,
Bianca for example, all the girls love Bianca, bro.
yeah,
Bianca is a moneymaker. The kids love Bianca, the girls love Bianca. Same thing with Naomi, and it's like Naomi was one of the like it's always good to see like a female role model in that way. So when it comes to like Bianca being face or Naomi being face, it's always good to see. and then it'll draw. I feel like it draws a bigger audience when that big face is a heel for a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. We got another comment from the Holy Shit podcast. They said Roxanne would have been a nice pick, but Naomi is on fire right now. I think Roxanne. I had Roxanne as my dark horse because if you think about it, if she would have won the briefcase and with the whole thing with her trying to like get good with the Judgment Day, that definitely would have brought friction between her and Liv.
Yeah.
That would have been like perfect right there. And we got another comment from the Friends of the Square Circle. What up, Crander Q?
Grand
Appreciate you
Q, what
stopping
up,
by.
bruh?
Appreciate you stopping by and leaving a comment. So one of another big thing that happened at Money in the Bank was the return of R-Truth. Uh, the fans, hey, they spoke out and they got him. You know what I'm saying? And I saw people on social media where he announced on a Sunday that he was no longer with the company or he wasn't getting his contract renewed. And I guarantee you, when I went on social media, Monday after Raw and going on the YouTube channel and stuff, everybody put in the comments, bring back truth. That's all everybody was
Yeah.
saying, bring back truth, bring back truth. That's all you heard on the shows. We want truth, we want truth. And it was messed up that they had to let him go. I heard that it was basically money issues is why they let him go. I read that at the time before his contract was before he got released, he's basically making too much money. The same reason why Braun Strowman got released, making too much money and really wasn't being utilized, or you know what I'm saying. But
It
oh,
that
go ahead.
that 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 made no sense. He was being used all the time though. Even
Yeah,
if he was having cameos backstage with the Judgment Day, he was still being used. He was still in storyline, and he always found something. I don't think there was a time besides when he injured his knee on NXT against Grayson Waller like 2 years ago. He was always being used. Unless he was hurt, he was always being used. I
yeah,
mean, pay the man his money. I mean, he's always sold merch. I'm pretty sure he sold a good amount of merch now with him coming back and his Ron Killings t-shirts. Um, I will say this as a wrestling fan, a diehard wrestling fan, I don't get goosebumps often, but when our Truth returned at Money in the Bank, I got goosebumps. Literally, I got chills. I was like, I actually legit had a. I was like I don't pop that hard. Like I will at times for certain things, but when
yeah,
I pop, like I'm like, oh shit, our Truth back. This is insane. Our Truth looked more he looked more serious. So this
yeah,
is but then he ain't our Truth no more. He's Ron Killings. So this is gonna be an interesting turn of things with because this might be the early 2000 Ron Killings, the NWA World Champion Ron Killings that we might be seeing. So if this ends up with our Truth winning a world title, that would be cool.
I was just about to ask you that. Like, do you see a scenario that they could put him that see a scenario where he could win the WWE title?
I do, and I was talking to my buddies about it. They were like, if it makes the fans happy or this and that, and I know WWE has been listening to fans more, and not everything they're not gonna listen to us all the time because if they did, wrestling wouldn't be as good as it is right now. There's reasons why they don't do everything that what we want to see. I understand where the consumer and with everything, but everything can't go always go our way. But if there is a scenario, I think a legit scenario would be Ron Killings beating John Cena for the WWE title, or him somewhat winning the world title, but I don't see that happening anytime soon.
Yeah,
Or the scenario is he does beat either the current world champion or WWE champion, and to give Seth Rollins more heat, Seth Rollins cashes in on Ron Killings right after he wins the world title.
yeah. I would definitely like to see Truth win the world title, even if it's like for a couple of weeks. You know what I'm saying? Just to say that he did it. You know what I'm saying? And I think he deserved it. Like he's definitely put the work in. Um, just even with the skits, you know what I'm saying? The little Jimmy skits and just the goofball stuff, you know what I'm saying? And he's been entertaining. And even when he came back from the injury, a little that he had suffered a little over a year ago, you know, he's still been A1. So I'm with the R-Truth title win. So real quick, what do you think about Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria? Becky Lynch is the new Intercontinental Champion. Um, I think I predicted this also. It just for me, Becky couldn't keep taking too many losses to Lyra Valkyria. You know.
Yeah, so this is gonna, I don't want to go off too much topic here. I didn't care. I cared more when it was for the NXT title. I didn't care more now that it's for the women's Intercontinental title, just because I didn't care when WWE added the women's United States title and Intercontinental title, just because now it's like you're giving all these women titles. Like I understand the women's roster is stacked, but it's almost like a participation trophy. And throughout the years of wrestling, there's always been more men than women in the wrestling business. It's how it's been. So the men having more titles makes sense, but they also have women's tag team titles that don't get utilized as much. So it's like now that they have this Intercontinental title, so it's now I'm not even looking at it as a title match. I'm looking at it more as just, Lyra and Becky just hate each other, so they're going at it. Like I don't even see it as a title match. I didn't even care for them to do this match because I didn't care for their match at Backlash. It
Mm-hmm.
was just dry, and sometimes two wrestlers just don't work out it's almost like putting like two positives together, and it just to before I talk more about that, I'm happy Bailey's back, so Bailey can get us away from that. But Becky winning the title, I predict that as well. Just because I don't think anyone saw that Lyra's title reign was even anything special. It might have been for her because she was the first Intercontinental Champion, Women's Intercontinental Champion. I don't want to downplay that at all. I'm not trying to downplay the titles. It just now with WWE adding so many titles, it's hard to keep up.
Yeah.
Um, so it's like it doesn't even exist for me sometimes. But look, I'm happy Lyra has gotten her spot. She is really good. Don't want to downplay her ability in the ring. She's really good. It's just I feel like we just saw like, I mean, it was I feel like it was a while ago, but I feel like we just saw Lyra and Becky, and now they're just still feuding, and it's something I don't even care to see.
Yeah, I feel you. And I think like me, I don't mind women's mid card titles. I actually think that they needed women's mid card titles because there were a lot of women that was on the roster that were very good that wasn't getting opportunities at the women's title. And I think I thought that the U.S. title and the women's intercontinental title were good ways to give that to the women that don't get a chance to really shine. You know what I'm saying? Like the Ivy Niles, the Selena Vegas, even Natalia. You know what I'm saying? I think Natalia would have been a women's intercontinental champion, especially after her uncles were intercontinental champions.
And I don't want to downplay the women the mid card titles for the women's,
Right.
but
Right.
like a lot of people don't watch NXT. I do follow NXT. I watch it. I've even been to NXT several times this year because NXT is only an hour away, so it's always cool to go to. If anyone that's watching this, if you live or if once in a lifetime go to the Performance Center watch NXT, it's probably one of the best venues to watch wrestling in. But there's just the only down part is they don't have food, so you should have
Oh,
luck. You should have luck for food. But
oh, that's crazy.
you watch NXT all the time. You see all these. Every once in a while, they got like 20 women trying to go after the NXT title. You know
Yeah.
what they do about that? They like you'll see almost like every other week NXT has like four women's matches.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Raw and SmackDown don't do.
Yeah.
They're utilizing their whole entire women's roster. and like they got 4 women. They're having 4 women's matches next week. So that's 8 women getting an opportunity to be on TV. That's
Yeah,
8 women getting an opportunity at the NXT Women's Title. Um, so NXT is always utilizing their women's roster, right? And that's why I'm okay with them having 2 women's titles over on NXT. It, especially with how stacked their roster has always been, especially the last couple years. It's like we're seeing that NXT women's roster, like a lot of them now that are on it, like Jada Parker and Lash Legend, and even JC a little bit. They weren't as big as they were as they were now.
yeah,
So just to see their evolution, their development. Same thing with Thea Hale. She's one of my favorites over in NXT. But
yeah,
a lot of them weren't at that potential, and some of them still kind of aren't. I do believe Lash Legend will be one bad girl when she gets called up to the main roster. That girl, like, I'm not the biggest fan of Lash Legend, but every single time I see her wrestle, I know she can beat someone's ass.
yeah.
Imagine Lash Legend versus Jade Cargill or something, man. I already know that'll put butts in seats.
Oh yeah,
Um, but yeah, if you see how they showcase the women on NXT compared to the main roster, it's a big difference. So if WWE or if WWE can showcase the women on Raw and SmackDown that same way, then I'd be okay with that. But
yeah,
it takes away when you have all these women's titles in the main roster.
yeah. And then it's kind of like too, they not putting enough prestige. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Not,
that's
they
another
not
thing. Yeah,
they not putting it on somebody that's gonna turn it into a workhorse championship. Like, you know what I'm saying? And like, I'm cool with Zelina Vega winning it, but I know she's not gonna keep it for a long time. Like, Chelsea Green was a okay United States champion. I think she deserved to win it, but it was like, how many times you gonna keep cheating? You know what I'm saying? And that was just with me, and I love Chelsea Green, but
yeah.
I just, and even with Piper Niven and not Alba Fire, they didn't, form this secret Hervis faction or whatever. But I think they gotta give her a little seriousness. So it's like next time she do win, if she do win the title again, she could be taken a little more serious. But I definitely agree that they need to showcase the women more on Raw and SmackDown, especially when you got 2 hour, 2.5 hour shows. Like, it should, if NXT can fit 8 women in a match and then have another 2 women's matches in 2 hours, there's no reason why WWE can't do
I don't know, man. I
it.
really don't know.
And honestly, and even with the tag team titles, like, if you're not gonna if you're not gonna put together no real good tag teams, just get get rid of them, or let somebody from NXT win the women's tag team titles and take them back to NXT. I think NXT would do something with the tag titles before WWE.
Well, what happened recently is with Liv Morgan having that TV opportunity. So she was filming for a movie, so she went away for a couple weeks,
Yeah,
and that it's like I don't know, and it happened when they like it get comes back to when their recent releases when they released Kaden Carter and Katana Chance. Katana Chance being one of my favorites,
yeah,
and it's like, damn, you released a legit tag team, like a legit women's tag team. You could at least put the tag titles on, and they could have been wrestling on NXT every week or something.
yeah,
It's one of those things. It's like that'll be really fumbled the bag with them for real.
yeah. I totally agree, because I was shocked when I was shocked. I think with releases now in WWE, when you hear the names, you're shocked by the names, because it's like, oh, why they released them? But some of them that got released, it was kind of like, well, they really weren't using them. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of how I
Yeah,
felt with Katana Chance and Carter. Like, they were the only real women's tag team on the roster, but they weren't utilizing them. You know what I'm
it
saying?
does. It's weird sometimes. Like I now like now in today's day and age when people get released, it's okay because wrestling is so big right now, especially in the
Yeah,
indies. I watch a lot of the indies. I love the indies. So like this past weekend, Shotzi showed up for GCW.
Yep.
If
Yeah.
anyone's familiar with GCW, if you're not, check them out. Highly recommend it. Shotzi showed up on the independent scene. Indy Hartwell recently, her what do you call it? Their non compete clause came up
Yep.
recently. So now she's on TNA, but she went to House of Glory and won their women's title.
Yep.
So that's always cool. It's always cool to see. So like a lot of people who do get released, it's like it's not the end of the world. Matt Cardona, even though I don't like the guy, I respect him. He makes a killing on the indie scene, and
Yeah.
he even said it. He says it all the time. It's like it's not the end of the world. Reinnovate yourself on the indies. Do what you got to do. Grind for it. You know, sell lots of merch. You know, get it. Just a lot of people, a lot of wrestlers when they get released, they probably just lose that motivation. They lose that motivation because they had their dream job, and now they're stuck at home and they can't do anything. Well, they gotta just power through it and go on
Yeah.
the indies, work for it. You know.
Yep. I definitely agree, and that's one of the things I said last week. Like the IWC has to chill when these wrestlers get released, because at the end of the day, they're gonna, like you said, they're gonna be good. There are so many options: AEW, TNA, MLW, GCW. Like there's so many independent promotions, and didn't even mention NWA. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
NWA.
They just announced a TV deal. Their shows are gonna end up being on Roku. So wrestling is so much wrestling out here. These wrestlers will be okay, and if they not wrestling, they got some type of skill or some type of side hustle that's gonna keep money coming in. And you can always go back to WWE. It has been
Oh
proven
yeah.
plenty of times. You get fired from the company, they're gonna call you back to some capacity.
That's why you never want to burn your bridges with WWE because they see everything. We all know Ricochet ain't going back to WWE because that man's burned his damn bridges. That bald mofo who want to be. That man talks so much trash, bro. I'm surprised he even like someone who gave this man a phone to even be talking trash on online.
Yeah, so real quick, just to talk about Ricochet real quick. What do you think about his run in AEW? You watch AEW?
I Oh yeah, heavily. Not as much as I've so I follow AEW. I love AEW. I've been following them since legit day one. I was in that parking lot when they announced the AEW. It was a
Oh,
moment I'll never forget. Um, I like his run. I haven't really cared for Ricochet just because of how he was utilized, and I've always thought he's been a great performer. I'm not gonna take that away from him. But and I've liked some of his stuff in AEW that he's got going on now. I'm still like iffy with him. Like I'll watch his matches. I'll be right there watching his stuff. But I don't still don't really like care for him.
mhm.
But I will give him his respect and like his recent rivalry with Swerve. I love Swerve, so that was really cool. But Ricochet, what his current his current freaking whatever he's doing, he's trying to get a faction going right now.
Yeah,
Um, so I don't know, but yeah, no, like I said, he's all right. I'm not the biggest fan of him right now, but I'll still watch it. I'll still watch.
yeah, definitely. I'm gonna say this with WWE. Not only did they drop the ball on Ricochet, but they also dropped the ball on his wife Samantha Irvin. Uh, one of the best ring announcers of all time. But I definitely also think that they should have let that woman pursue her music career. And I think that they could have helped her push it or whatever. But I was reading that they didn't want her to do that, and she said,
We'll never know the true story. We'll never. A lot of stuff stays behind. A lot of stuff stays behind closed doors because it's personal and private, and
yeah,
we'll never really know the whole story. I know from what I've heard or whatever that I've read that Samantha didn't even like ring announcing.
yeah, yeah,
So it's like you guys really want her to come back. but she doesn't like doing it. So why would you want her to come back if she don't like doing it? I mean, yeah, she was great at it, but doesn't mean she enjoyed doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was surprising to me when she said that she didn't like being a ring announcer because I thought she was great at it. And
Yeah.
in that in the little time that she was doing it. We got a comment from the Holy Shit podcast. I like to drop the ball on Samantha Irvin too.
Oh my gosh. What the heck?
Shout out to the Holy Shit podcast representing the city of Detroit, my hometown, the 313. Much love to you fellas. So of course you saw on Monday Night Raw, Gunther is the new world heavyweight champion, two-time champion. Um, what's your thoughts on him being the champion again?
I've always liked Gunther. He's been he literally is a ring general. He's literally like I'm not trying to say anything, but he's literally like Hitler in a way. Like that man will not stop. That man, like I'm not trying to say anything bad. That
I,
man is a whole machine. Like he's his own leader. He'll do whatever he's got to do. Like he's got no quit in him. So
yeah.
I've always liked Gunther. He is he's something, man. I've always liked Jey Uso. I gotta respect the Usos. I gotta respect the Jey Uso. I wasn't feeling his world title run. I know a lot of people wanted to see him become world champion, and it just felt like a little dry. And it was nice to see Jey Uso win the world title. I also I didn't care that Gunther lost back to back manias
Mm-hmm.
after having really long title reigns,
Yeah, yeah,
and Gunther is one of those guys that shouldn't be taking that many losses, which he hasn't. But when he goes to WrestleMania last year and he loses the Intercontinental title to Sami Zayn, a guy we all know who's been the biggest underdog,
yeah.
and then he does it again this year, it's like, man, bro, WWE really gonna shaft you like that? So I'm like, you know what? I already knew Gunther was gonna win the title back. I already knew it as soon as he lost it at Mania. I already knew Jay was gonna have a short title reign. I knew Gunther was gonna win it back because it was only a matter of time. Um, I really wish Gunther didn't lose back to back Manias because I feel like that's gonna impact him on his legacy. So like in the future, when they're looking back on his career, and I know Sami Zayn wanted to be the underdog back to back Manias. And then Jey Uso being the underdog, and I didn't care. I didn't really care for all that. If one of them wouldn't have happened, then I would have been fine. But Gunther losing two back to back manias, and but yeah, I still hope Jey Uso can get back, and like obviously we'll probably end up seeing him back with his brother, and they'll be eating, and they'll be winning the tag titles again, and that I don't know. Like I don't want to say this, but Jey Uso's always been a tag team guy, but I don't want to see him as a tag team guy or his whole
Yeah,
entire career. So it
yeah.
was nice to see him win the Intercontinental title, and then win the Rumble, and then win the World title. It was cool to see all that, but when it doesn't work out, it's like I think WWE knew from the beginning that Jay wasn't going to win the world title or hold the world title that long.
Mm-hmm.
We might see Jey Uso win the world title again. We
I
don't know.
yeah.
I did say this once. I did say this like last year. Now that WWE is getting in the swing of things, I do believe we will see more title changes and more title reigns. We won't be seeing long title reigns anymore unless it works out. But I think Gunther will be a solid world champion for a couple months before he loses again. I do think we're going to be seeing a lot of short title reigns back when WWE had a stacked roster, like in the early 2000s, late 90s, or in the world title is constantly changing hands, along with every other title. We
Yo.
always saw new champions, so it's not the end of the world for Jey Uso. We'll probably see him win the world title like five more times, honestly. Like we're still gonna be eating, guys.
Yeah,
But yeah, Gunther winning the world title, I expected it. I'm happy for Gunther. I am very curious to see where they go next with that. Unless Jay gets a rematch, which I don't see Jay getting a rematch.
yeah. And I had to think about it like, and I'm a fan of both guys, but it makes sense to put the belt back on Gunther. Like to me, Gunther is like the Thanos of pro wrestling. You not about to get
He
too many.
is.
You not about to get too many wins, and no matter how good you are, he gonna beat your ass. just straight up like that. And it's just like, and I think he kind of represents like kind of like that old school heel a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Um, you know what I'm saying? He doesn't do too much. He's just a straight heel. You know what I'm saying? Don't have this big crazy gimmick. Just a regular guy that get in the ring.
And he
No,
doesn't really have a faction anymore. I don't know where Ludwig is, but he doesn't have a faction behind him, so he's been winning his matches on his own.
yeah, yeah. And I think that's what it was kind of because I don't know why they moved the other guy to SmackDown and then they eventually released him. But yeah, with Ludwig Kaiser, like when they were together, Gunther was telling them like, hey, you need to do your thing, you know, build your legacy and win championships. And he was doing that for a minute. Well, he wasn't winning championships, but he was winning matches. He was on TV. So I wanna I wouldn't assume that he's probably injured or something, or hopefully it's not one of them things where they just don't have nothing for him and he just sitting in cake.
Right.
Because yeah, Ludwig is definitely a future Intercontinental Champion in my opinion.
Oh, dude, that man's in such great shape too.
Yeah, yeah,
Him and Gunther both. The transformation between both guys, such great shape. Very good athletes. So it would make sense for Ludwig to get like a title run soon.
yeah. Definitely agree. So what advice would you give to someone trying to grow their presence in the wrestling or gaming space online?
Consistency.
Yeah,
If you're by if it like I'm by myself, I don't have people to help me. It would be nice. Like I have a small community of people. I always try and network really well. Networking is a big one.
yeah,
I know a lot of people. Um, so it's always nice to have those people to like not physically help you out, but be there for moral support. And you know, if you ever had like content ideas, other people, there you go. You got people to network with. You like, for example, me and you are doing this right here.
yeah.
But yeah, consistency, networking, and just kind of don't be afraid to like post something. Like if you're like I've always took a lot of advice from Gary V. If you guys don't know who Gary V is, a big entrepreneur, big social media guy. He's all for social media, but don't be afraid to just hit record and then post it. You know, like it doesn't matter what it is. Someone out there's gonna watch your stuff. Someone out there's gonna support you.
Yeah.
Um, also just when you're staying consistent, try and post to everything as much as you can. Not, I wouldn't say overdo it, but when if I do have the time and I don't do it, I don't even take my own advice sometimes. But if you got the heart driven for it, this is what you do. You post on YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels,
Yeah.
Facebook Reels, and post on Threads too. Threads, if you can get up on Threads, there you go.
Okay.
Get a bunch of clips, post on all those multiple times, like maybe once a day, if anything. You don't have to do multiple times a day unless you really want to, but as much like saved content I've had like between gaming and going to wrestling shows and this and that, I have so much stuff I could probably post for another 5 years. A lot of stuff I haven't even posted ever. A lot of stuff has just been in my phone saved. but But yeah, if you really want to like just even if you're not, don't even think about what you would want. Like don't even think about you wanting to get anything out of it. Just think like you want to do it just to do it. Like I do this because I want other people to. I want to share experiences with other people, or I want to just get it out there and people can see it. You know, like a lot of stuff I do post isn't like other people's stuff. Everything I post is either that I recorded with or it's my own stuff. I don't try and post other people's stuff, even though people make those like clip accounts where they're posting like YouTube videos and in 2 minute clips, and
Yeah,
they're making money from that.
yeah,
I try and be original and just post my own stuff. And when it comes down to wanting to do your own thing, make sure you do what makes you happy and you're not just doing something silly just for views.
definitely. And I would definitely say like whatever is working for you to make your stuff go viral and to make you know your network or your channel grow, keep doing it, but always come up with new ideas. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to keep doing the same thing and it get boring and you don't get as many views or many people subscribing to your channel. So yeah, I definitely believe that. Like and just like you said, with just hit that record button because you never know who's watching. You always gonna have some type of support, and it don't matter what type of equipment you got, just do it. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people out here that's doing stuff on their phones and are very
Yeah, a lot of YouTubers now are just using the iPhone, and they're filming
yeah.
everything from the like. There's this bunch of a couple of YouTubers combined to start a separate YouTube channel, and I'm assuming they're getting paid from somebody because they
Oh,
started this new YouTube channel, and they have all this equipment. Not a lot of equipment, but they're all recording with iPhones. Like when they're doing videos showing their POV, and they just have a phone and they're using like the newer iPhone, and it's not a camera, it's their iPhone, and they're just using all that footage and making a video. And it's crazy how you can see like you don't need these couple $1,000 cameras anymore. It's the iPhone. I want to just say the iPhone, but I'm assuming like a lot of the newer phones could probably pump out good quality videos as well.
definitely, definitely. So what's next for Ryan TD in the world of content creation?
Right now I think you asked me before we went live. Is I'm doing like, and not like a podcast, but almost like an episode thing where I will be interviewing wrestlers and other people. I'm working on that. That'll be posted on my YouTube channel whenever I can get around to interviewing people. It's not that easy. I did interview Fuego del Sol.
Oh,
Um, he was cool. It was right before he lost his mask. Um, it was cool to interview him, and then I interviewed a buddy of mine. Because long story short, me and him have done some backyard wrestling stuff, and he's been making his name known in boxing here in Florida. So I wanted to interview him just because it was only meant to be that I had to get him on. Um, and I got another video I'm gonna be posting probably in another week or so. I don't try and post that many main videos that much a month. Try and spread them out. But I got so you can see I'm a big wrestling figure collector. So I did order some new figures. I opened up the box, showed off all the new figures I got. So that's a new video I got coming up. But the future, what I want to plan on doing is doing the interviews, and then vlogging when I travel. Like I'm going to SummerSlam this year. I plan on vlogging that whole entire weekend, making the best out of it, making fun with it. Meeting some friends out there. I'm going to GCW as well. That'll be fun. So that'll be all in the vlog, and then after that, will probably just be because I got a lot of stuff going on. I'm going to concerts, going to wrestling shows, stuff. So when it comes to my content ideas, will definitely just be vlogging the ventures, and if probably just recording unboxings and stuff like that for wrestling figures. But probably be just that until something else happens. I do want to get into like going to conventions and recording those for videos. Like if I were to like go to like some card conventions or even wrestling convention, we just had one here too. But I was in Tampa, but we had like the River City Wrestling and over in St. Augustine, which is a big wrestling convention every year. A lot of wrestlers show up to do meet and greets. They even do wrestling matches. And a buddy of mine refereed for River City last weekend. I have connections in the wrestling community with either wrestlers or referees or whatever it may be. So I've been always trying to keep those connections going. And but yeah, that's what I got going on for my content. And then when it comes to like TikTok, probably posting like my concert clips and um just me talking about wrestling as well on there. I don't post too much about wrestling because I follow a couple people that talk about wrestling already, and I'm not trying to copy anyone's flow or copy anyone's style. So I kind of just keep the wrestling, me talking about wrestling to a minimum, not to a complete minimum, but
Right.
because I've been meaning to post about my Money in the Bank reactions. I never got around to it because I was out of town last weekend, so I didn't want to. I didn't want to be like record a phone like that. That's the thing is like I wanted to just hit record and talk about it, but then like I'm over here saying this advice to record, and I'm not even taking like I said, I'm not even taking my own advice about like hitting record and wanting to talk about Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I got a lot of stuff I got coming up, man. I just try and keep busy and it's I always try and tell people like you can do whatever you want, make the best out of your life, and whether it's you know even if you just leaving your house going to the park or something like that, just try and do something. And I have motivated some of my friends to go out and go to concerts or go to wrestling shows or whatever it may be because you can get your real enjoyment, going to a wrestling show. I've had so many people telling me they've enjoyed going to a wrestling show because you're there, you feel it in the in the venue wherever you're at, and it's always a cool experience to go to a wrestling show. So I've always tried to motivate people to go. Don't be afraid to record your reactions or whatever it may be when just there's just so much. But I always try and stay busy when it comes to life and
Yeah,
networking, and I always try and hit up on my friends and just keep on growing.
definitely. Real quick, I know you say you travel to different wrestling shows. I know you heard that WrestleMania 42, well, next year's WrestleMania is going to be at in Las Vegas again. What are your thoughts on that, real quick? Do you like the idea of it possibly being in Las Vegas more, or
I
or go ahead?
I I don't. I really don't. Because I wanted to go this year. I probably could have afforded it, but it was also just not ideal with the pricings for Vegas. Because when things go to Vegas, it tends to be much more money.
Oh
It's
yeah,
expensive. Because I wanted to go to like to a Las Vegas Raiders game, and I'm looking at the tickets. They're several $100s to go to a damn Raiders game in Vegas, and the Raiders aren't even that good of a damn team. Like, so I understand from a business standpoint, which a lot of people don't understand. Triple H was getting asked several questions about WrestleMania being in Vegas again. He wasn't telling us what he wanted to tell us because the real question or the real answer to the question is they're going back to WrestleMania to make more money because Las
yep,
Vegas outbid everyone else, and now they're going. That's why they told New Orleans, "Oh, sorry, Vegas bid us way more money than you guys, so you guys can get like a SummerSlam or a Money in the Bank." Which I
yeah.
think they gave him Money in the Bank next year. They didn't give him WrestleMania.
Oh,
Um,
that's
I
cold.
don't. They didn't make an announcement on that, but they did say they're gonna go to New Orleans sometime next year, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be Money in the Bank. Um, but I don't. I this is just like WWE makes so much. They're owned by TKO, and TKO is a money company. So with
Mm-hmm.
all the sponsors on the mat, and then them trying to cut people's contracts, it's just they're in the business to make money. It's not a Triple H thing.
Yep.
I don't even think it's a Nick Khan thing. It's a TKO thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I respect them from a business standpoint, but it just sucks when like I sat about like when I went to Mania last year, Mania 40, I sat about 15 rows off the floor,
Mm-hmm.
and I paid $500 for both nights. $500 flat for both nights. That was a steal.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
same the same the same seat for Mania 41 this year was like $1,200. And I was like, damn, and like my buddy Shay, like, cause me and him planned on going, cause I had a my hotel was free for Mania 41. But the thing is, like, I'll be spending a lot of money on my Mania tickets, a lot of money on everything else. It's like the average wrestling fan cannot afford to go to WrestleMania right now, and it
I mean,
sucks.
at this point, they might not be able to afford to go to a show because next month they supposed to be coming to Detroit, and the tickets, the prices for floor seats are just like, are you serious? Because before, I would say maybe like 5, 7 years ago, whatever, ticket prices were very, very cheap. Like you
Mm-hmm.
could get a floor seat for 125, and the further you went back, the cheaper the tickets were. Like if you sat in like row 30 on the floor, the tickets for that row was probably under $100. You know,
Yeah.
and it's like now, if you sit in row 30, you still probably paying. They probably charging $300 a pop for a ticket.
I just went to Dallas about a month and a half ago for SmackDown. It was a SmackDown after Mania. And I lucked out and got us some good seats. Not like we were on we were on the camera side, so we weren't on TV, but we were in the lower bowl. We weren't on the floor. It was like right off a couple rows off the floor. And I think I paid 175 each ticket, but I think so rounded up it was like 200 a piece.
Oh,
And
that's good.
that was even on the floor. And
Yeah.
it's like, and I always tell people, I'm like, you guys want to hate on AEW so much, but AEW got some cheap tickets. You go on Ticketmaster right now, go pull up any event, even their pay per views. Man, you can get some cheap tickets for
Wow.
any AEW show, and that's why I try and tell people, y'all want to hate on AEW, but AEW is more for the wrestling fans because you want to go to a show, AEW's got you covered. You can go cheap. You want to see some good wrestling, go to AEW. I mean, I'm not trying to downplay WWE, but it's like AEW got the cheap tickets, man. I mean, you can go to a pay per view pretty cheap. The AEW, like if I decided to go to Battleground for NXT because they were in Tampa, and I also bought front row for NXT. If I didn't spend that money on NXT, I would have preferred to go to AEW's Double or Nothing, their 6 year anniversary pay per view. Because if you look at it, I'm pretty sure the money I spent at NXT, I could have probably got a solid seat for AEW, and I could have enjoyed a really long night of like crazy matches for AEW.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just hope that, I mean, it probably won't happen no time soon, but I hope that TKO realize like, hey, we got to lower these ticket prices a little bit. But like you said, TKO is a money company. And another thing that I had to bring up too, like, like you said, when it came to the releases, it's not necessarily a Triple H or Nick Khan thing. Like, it's not like before when Vince was running it and you could possibly convince Vince, like, hey, don't fire this guy, bring him back or keep him, and Vince would do it. Like, whatever TKO says, that's what they got to do now. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think that's what people got to realize. But hey, TKO probably heard everybody chanting "We Want Truth," and they was probably gave him the green light, like, you know, see what y'all could do. RyanTD, I want to thank you for coming on.
Of course,
Had
man.
a great discussion talking about wrestling, talking about gaming. Before we get out of here, you got any last words, any plugs, any shout outs you want to give?
Honestly, if you guys want to check me out, highly recommend follow me on Instagram and YouTube. I'm very active on Instagram. And if you guys want to check out not the best vlogs or the best videos, but if you guys want to like check out some cool stuff, definitely check out my YouTube. It's just my name, how you see it right here on right there. As that's literally me everywhere. I made sure it was the same name everywhere on every social media. So if you guys want to check me out, there you go. Um, but one thing I do want to leave on a good note: don't be afraid to do anything. If you guys are struggling, don't like. Some people tend to overthink with life. Some people tend to overthink with anything. Don't overthink. I know it's hard to say. I know it's better said than done. But once you realize how beautiful life is, man, you can just do anything and you can power through whatever. If there's something going on in your life, we all got that going on as well. But we all power through. We become a better person. And honestly, man, that's all I gotta say.
Definitely appreciate it. Those are definitely true words, and yeah, definitely feel where you coming from, and you just gotta live life, man, and Like all this other stuff that's going on, you got to put that to the side and you just live your best life, do what makes you happy, because that's really what it's all about now, is just being happy. And if you happy in life, everything else gonna come, everything else gonna fall in place.
Yes, sir.
So let me give my shout outs. Want to give a shout out to the Wrestling Society Network. Shout out to the whole family there. Make sure you download their app on Apple TV, Roku, Amazon Fire Stick. Make sure you follow Wrestling from the 313 on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. Definitely subscribe to the YouTube channel. We inching close to 5,800 subscribers. We just hit the 2.6 million views mark, so we're on the road to 3 million views, and we're on the road to 6,000. Eventually, we're gonna get to that 10,000K mark too, as far as subscribers. So, you know, I'm just out here just trying to do my thing, trying to do my part in the wrestling community, and like always, on the end of my show, I like to say, support independent wrestling, support wrestling podcasters, and got to throw this in there now, support content creators just overall. You know what I'm saying? Definitely, because we all out here doing what we love, and sometimes this is an outlet from everything that we got going on in the world. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's work, whether it's personal stuff, to sit here and chop it up with you and talk about wrestling, talk about gaming, and just doing these episodes, just doing this podcast has just definitely been the outlet for me. So I'm blessed. I'm thankful to be doing what I'm doing. And best of luck to you. Everything that you got going on with your vlogs and taking your trips and everything. And you're always welcome to come back and
Oh, for sure.
talk about some of the events that you've been to, and even chop it up about some wrestling.
Yeah, like I said, before we even went live, I got so many stories to tell, man. People don't even know.
Definitely, we definitely gonna have to get you back. And
If I'll leave it on this note. Before we do end it, I am probably one of the few people that have drank with the Usos, Jacob Fatu, and Zilla Fatu. Okay.
oh snap! I know that, but I know that had to be
It
so.
wasn't all at once, but it was the Usos at one point, and then it was Jacob and Zilla at another point.
That's what's up. I know all of them was cool too.
Oh, it was.
That's what's up. Yeah, we definitely gonna have to bring you on and tell some of those stories. And once again, thank you for taking the time to come on. And best of luck with everything you got going on. And make sure y'all follow RyanTD on his social media pages, and just continue to support all the content creators in the gaming and wrestling community. So for my guest, RyanTD, I am Mike D, host of Wrestling from the 313. Next week, we will not have any shows. I'm taking a little break, chill out a little bit, get my mind right. But I will be back in 2 weeks with another episode. So hope to see everybody in 2 weeks. Make sure you subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. So once again, for RyanTD, I am Mike D. This is Wrestling from the 313 Live, and we are out. Peace.